Hi everyone, today we'll be having ReyAnn Moya come on and share her experience about traveling as an ER nurse. She's currently in Washington right now, and she's one of our Gypsy nurse mentors. She will tell you more about herself in just a moment, but I just want to tell you some exciting things that we have going on the gypsynurse.com for the registered users. I'm just going to show you. If you haven't been to our website, this is what it looks like. You can log in or register in the corner, but I am already logged in. So we have a new feature. It's a video chat, so you can safely and securely talk to your nurse friends. So you just come to your profile and click the video chat. We also have 20% off of Elite Learning CEUs. You just use this promo code and press more information. So you just log in, you come down, you go to CEU credits, and there you go. So you can get 20% off of Elite Learning and video chat with your nurse friends. We also have a contest going on next week. We're having our Thanksgiving contest. So we're going to have you guess some of the images similar to our other ones, but you're going to guess Thanksgiving themed images. And so you'll have a chance to win a noise cancellation headphones. So I know that's probably the only cancellations you guys care about is the noise. So that one will be a hot gift that we will be giving away. So I am going to bring ReyAnn on now. Hi, ReyAnn. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
Good. All right. Well, I'm going to let you do your thing and drop off here.
All right, sounds good. Hi, everybody. My name is ReyAnn Moya. I am one of the Gypsy Nurse mentors. I think I've actually been doing it for a little while now. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and kind of just ask me questions about travel nursing. But just gonna start into a little bit about me. Again, my name is ReyAnn. I am from Santa Fe, New Mexico. I am 28 years young, really feeling that 28 years old this year. I've been a nurse for 6 years and in the emergency department for 5. I done most of my experience at the University of New Mexico Hospital, where I was at for the past 5 years, and then I jumped into travel nursing July of 2019. UNMH, which is my old permanent hospital, is actually the only level 1 trauma center in New Mexico. So I got quite a bit of experience there. I also did their nurse residency program, which entails you starting up on the floor on 2 units and then going eventually down to your specialty, which mine is in the emergency department. So I've worked on an orthopedic floor and a general medicine floor, which ultimately you do see a lot of those types of cases in the emergency department themselves. But the ER is my home. Actually, it's kind of a funny story because I was meant to be tracked to the ICU because I have a very logical, check mark type list brain. And I was like, oh yeah, ICU, this is going to be where I end up in my nursing career. Lo and behold, ED is my home. I would eventually like to, maybe as I get older, branch out into other specialties just because I think it's just good to kind of dabble in other specialties to see what you like and learn, I don't know, just different types of nursing, because emergency department versus ICU is very, very different in the way that you think. And I'm just kind of all about learning. That's something that I love to do, is just always challenge myself. If I look down, it's because I'm looking at my notes because I get sidetracked. So yes, in July of 2019, I stepped into the wonderful world of travel nursing. It has been quite the adventure, let me tell you. I am in Washington State right now, which has been an absolute blast. I knew I was going to love it out here, but I love it. If it wasn't for the rain and the gloom out here, I would definitely pack up my bags and move out here permanently. I really do love it out here. But I have worked at several other hospitals, my first hospital being at John Muir Walnut Creek in the East Bay of the San Francisco area. I absolutely loved my first contract. I really did a lot of research when I started travel nursing. I did a whole year's worth of research. I was very scared to jump into it because I really didn't know how I was really going to fit into that world. I had been a nurse for, 5 years. I had more than enough experience. I was just like very, very pulled to like my comfort zone. And in January of 2019, I just told myself like, I'm not learning anymore. Like I definitely don't know everything, obviously, but I just feel like I go into work, I do my job. It was kind of like on the cycle of repeat. And I was just like, I really don't want to get stuck in this place of just routine. Like that's just not who I am. So I decided July was the month that I was going to, literally just take the plunge. Like it literally took me signing on with an agency, signing that contract and booking a flight. Like I just didn't think about it. I just did it and actually went for it. And that's something I think that you really, when you think about travel nursing, like you can really outthink or you can overthink it and really never do it and just always plan it. So I guess that would be one of my biggest tips to you guys is if you are thinking of travel nursing, just do it. Like just do it. But anyways, I started at John Muir Walnut Creek. It was a really amazing hospital because University of New Mexico was the only level 1 trauma center, county hospital, very busy. Like we got everything. Gunshot wounds, stab wounds, assaults, domestic violence, like all kinds of crazy things would come into the ER. And we'd have to take, obviously, everyone. So John Muir Walnut Creek is a private hospital. It functioned so different than UNMH. It was, we didn't have any residents. It was pure attending. So we had the doctors just putting in orders, nurses doing them, putting in orders, nurses doing, it was just quick. And I really had to like pick up the pace because at, University of New Mexico is a teaching hospital as well. So we had residents and like teaching is a process, it takes a little bit of time. So I finished my assignment at John Muir. I remember like my first day on assignment, I remember sitting in my car and like bawling my eyes out. I was like, I don't know what I like got myself into. Like, I'm so scared. Like, I don't know if I like made the right choice for myself. And I just kind of sat there and contemplated for a little bit. And I said, well, ReyAnn, like, do you really want to go home? Like, is that what you want to do? What are you going to do at home? Like, what is there? And I just kept telling myself like comfort is there. And I said, yeah, but do I want to live my life in comfort or do I want to live my life in, constantly just challenging myself? Like, in other words, do I want the pains of growing or do I want the pains of stagnant, like being stagnant? And ultimately, I love change to the best that I can, but ultimately I'm always trying to seek, always trying to be better. The second hospital that I went to was San Francisco General in the Bay Area proper. And that was the last contract before the one that I'm at right now. That contract was amazing and also really hard at the same time. That's San Francisco's only level 1 trauma center, and it receives, I can't say that these statistics are completely accurate, but I would say about like 85% of the time we're taking care of IV drug users, homeless, or psych population. And that's already like kind of a difficult population to deal with. And when you're constantly dealing with that population, it really kind of burns you out a little bit. So towards the end of that contract, it did have me kind of like second guessing my career in terms of, like travel nursing is so amazing, but like I just needed a break to step back. And in the middle of that, the pandemic happened as well. So it was like the population was really kind of burning me out, and then COVID hit and everything was changing on a day-to-day basis. It was just like so crazy. And obviously we're going through that right now, which is a kind of like triggering, I think, for a lot of the healthcare community. But overall, that assignment was so amazing. I want to say it was like 50% travel nurses, 50% permanent staff, which is kind of crazy, like how many travel nurses were actually there. We hung out all the time. Like we really got to know each other. It really felt comfortable being in an environment where there were other travelers like you. Because I know sometimes when you're the only traveler on that unit, it's hard for people to kind of understand your lifestyle because travel nursing is just so different from permanent staff in the lifestyle itself. I'm trying to remember when I went, September of 2019, I actually went to TravCon, which is a travel nurse conference in Las Vegas. And that was kind of where I met a lot of my homies now in the travel nurse community, on top of the Gypsy Nurse page that has like so many resources on there that you're able to actually just literally type in like, hey, I'm out in San Francisco. Are there any nurses in the area? Or hey, I'm in, Seattle or Washington. Is there anyone out in these areas? And like, thankfully, San Francisco and Washington are huge hotspots for where travel nurses go because they're unionized and they have amazing nursing. Anyways, to go back to TravCon, I met a lot of really amazing people at TravCon. I'm going to shout out to my friend Ryan Sendow and Emily Chang. They were actually my roommates at TravCon, and they are heavily involved in the travel nurse community, and they're the ones that really got me more involved in the travel nurse community and more just like, you don't realize how small the community is until like you get into it. Like it's this huge community, but actually you can talk to another traveler at your unit and be like, hey, have you worked with blah, blah, blah? And they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, like I used to work with this person at this assignment. So it really is small. We really are all kind of going through the same thing. So for me, I just think that travel nursing, like without that community, can be a little bit hard, as it does have its moments of being lonely and its moments of hardships. Like I like being super transparent with my journey, in that there are some hard days, and the things that, and in nursing in general, nursing's hard. I mean, I hate to tell you guys, and I'm sure some of you guys know, like nursing is not easy. So just kind of like having that support that understands you and understands what you're going through, and can really kind of just like hold that space for your, emotions, and hold that space for your happiness or whatever it may be, whatever emotion you're going through. My friend Ryan Sendow actually has an Instagram page. It's at Travel Nurse Takeover, where nurses in the travel nurse community take over his Instagram account and kind of show people like what the travel nurse lifestyle is like. And I know there have been other allied staff on there too, like travel PT, I think travel OT, speech pathology. There's been a bunch of different specialties to just kind of show the multiple lifestyles that travel nursing or the travel allied staff career can really provide for you. For me, travel nursing has really provided tons of flexibility and freedom. It's funny because at my permanent job, I really didn't leave for all the other reasons that I think a lot of other travel nurses leave, like their hospital is really unsafe, or they don't get breaks or anything like that. Like at UNMH, I loved my staff. I loved my coworkers. I loved the hospital. Like I could have seen myself working there for a really long time. I just didn't really feel like I was growing anymore. And I felt like I was too comfortable in that space to really get out. So it was more just like me pushing myself to want to like leave my comfort zone, which is a lot of what travel nursing is like every single time you start a new contract. But Ryan Sendow's page really does bring the community together. Actually, during COVID, we had every Tuesday we would have these Zoom meetings where travel nurses literally across the US would get onto these Zoom calls. We had never met each other before, and we would all just connect. We would talk about COVID. It was usually themed. Like some nights we had like talking about our, emotions of things, or it was game night, or it was make drinks and talk about, just like whatever. Like it really was just about bringing the community together. I had actually talked with a couple of those nurses on that Zoom. On the Gypsy Nurse page, I had, there's so many different ways to like connect with other travel nurses in the community. Gypsy Nurse is huge. And then obviously Instagram and social media is such an amazing platform to connect with other travelers. You really just have to like put yourself out there. Let's see what else I got on my list. Oh yeah, I have a list of 10 travel nurse rookie mistakes. I really wanted to like share this with you guys, especially for maybe the travel nurses that are watching. These are the things that I really learned over the course of my first contract. Like even through all of the research that I did and the travel nurses that I talked to, I think that you obviously just have to like experience things for yourselves and make those mistakes and just like know what you want to do better in your next contract. Or if you decide not to do travel nursing, which is totally chill, like travel nursing is not for everyone, but I think that everyone should maybe just give it one shot, just one shot. Mistake number one, not doing your own research. I think that just trusting certain people, like, you know, your friends who say like, oh, my recruiter is really great. And it's like, well, every recruiter is kind of specific to like what you want or like what you want of your career. So really just kind of doing your own research and making sure that you connect with your recruiters, or that, you know, you have like your tax home set up, or you have like your travel taxes all in order. And those are all things that, you know, come with travel nursing. You really have to make sure that you understand them. Two, understanding like pay breakdown. So travel nurses are paid in taxable money and non-taxable money. So really understanding, like, even though you see you're making $3,000 a week, okay, well, what's the pay breakdown of that? How much money is actually getting taxed of that money, and how much am I actually, you know, making on my own? So really understanding pay breakdown is like a huge thing. Again, that actually ties back into number one of like just really doing your research. Understanding the basics of travel tax and having a tax home. Y'all, you cannot receive tax-free stipends if you don't have a tax home. And I have actually a friend, Leah, who is or was a travel nurse and went travel recruiter and is actually working for telehealth now, who says, like, don't be ignorant. Like, you should not be receiving tax advice from anyone but a tax advisor. And there's plenty of resources out there. TravelTax.com is a huge one that I use. And then thinking that the 50-mile rule is real. It's not real. It's not real. It's all about commute time, and it's all about duplicating expenses. And again, this ties back to like your tax home and what that means for you. So definitely doing your research. Not working with multiple agencies. Even though you love one recruiter, it's really good to bounce pay packages and really kind of know what the market looks like by working with other agencies or other recruiters. Not all agencies and recruiters are created equal, so you really have to know if you're getting the best offer. Not requesting time off during your contract. I did this from the beginning. I knew that I wanted to at least take a week off in between, during my contract, just because I had seen how people's or other travel nurses' schedules would be like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like, I'm not down for that. Like, I want to be able to enjoy my days off. So I definitely talked to my recruiter about, hey, can I have like a week and a half off during my contract? And thankfully the hospital approved it, just so you can at least plan something and look forward to something throughout your contract. And not to get involved in the drama on your units. I mean, if you got into the drama at your units at your old hospital, it's a good chance that you're going to get into it at your, contract hospital. I'm telling you, don't do it. It's a trap. Don't do it. It's not worth it. I mean, the benefit of like doing travel nursing is to not get involved in the hospital politics. You don't belong to them. You aren't really a part of that hospital. You kind of just like pop in, pop out, like do your job, make sure you make a good impression, and kind of just like, stamp your mark and like leave. And it's not in like a mean way. It's just, you don't need to be getting involved in the politics of the hospital. You're not there to change anything. Not leaving a paper trail when talking to your recruiter. So I see a lot of travel nurses, like especially newbie travel nurses, doing this. If you don't email your recruiters or text your recruiters or have some kind of like backup, it's kind of just like your say versus their say. So you definitely want to leave a paper trail of like, hey, you said on this email that you were going to offer me this, this, and this, and I still haven't received it, and you're able to forward it back to them. So definitely having that paper trail of, really keeping people accountable, because in the travel nurse world, you really will see how like not everyone has your best interest in mind. You really have to delegate and advocate for yourself. You really have to hold yourself accountable, and you have to be the one to hold other people accountable. And then not saving the money that you're making. That's my last tip. Y'all, once you start seeing the dollar signs, and I'm not saying like, oh, you make all this money, but like you definitely make more money than a permanent staff. And really like, when you start seeing the dollar signs, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go spend on some like, really cool bags or like a new car, like whatever it is you need. If you need those things, of course, but really just like invest with your money, like invest in a house, invest in like stocks, invest in like something that's really going to be like passive income for your future. I really, really, really strongly advise like building a good mentality around money. And if you don't really have that mentality going into travel nursing, maybe it's something you should start honing in on a little bit, just because when you're starting to make that money, it can easily just like slip right out of your hands if you really don't pay attention to what you're doing with it. And I guess that's like not only with travel nursing, but in life. Those are just my biggest tips. I know that for me, travel nursing has been such an amazing, amazing, amazing time. Like, I got to live right next to Baker Beach in San Francisco. My cousin is a federal police officer out there. So like, here's Baker Beach, and like, here was my house. And it was just like such an amazing opportunity. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without travel nursing. I got to hike Half Dome. I got to go to Yosemite, Lake Tahoe. I got to actually take time off and go to Vietnam, which was really amazing. Pre-COVID, obviously, we can't do anything now. But I got to come to Washington. I hike almost every single day that I'm out here, and really just like explore the area. So travel nursing really is what you make of it. It could be absolutely awful. It could be absolutely amazing. It can help pull you out of debt. It can help create financial freedom. It can help you meet people all across the world. It can help you create new job opportunities in the future. I did also want to mention one of my friends, Emily Chang, who is really making such a stride in the travel nurse community with her new MedVenture app, just to help like create more community within the travel nurse community. She's so amazing. I'm sure if you guys know anything or are in the travel nurse community at all, you know her by her name. She's definitely a travel nurse influencer. I know she hates it when people call her that, but that's what she is. And yeah, I mean, I talk about travel nursing like it's like this holy grail, but like to me, I've seen people's lives change so much. Like, if you really feel like you're not being valued or taken care of at your hospital, like, you're going to find that anywhere. But doing travel nursing can really kind of just help you step outside of that realm of like, I feel stuck, or I feel like I'm not advancing in my career, or I just want change, or I want a new, pace, or I want like just, newness. And anytime that you step into a new contract, it's like you're brand new all over again. And that's kind of the things that like I don't love personally, but once you acclimate and once you start to know the area and start to know your coworkers, get to make those connections, it is just like, it's so worth it. And I think it's an opportunity that literally no other career has. I had a friend who came out and visited me in Washington, and I'm just telling her about travel nursing and how great it's been for me and how I'm so like happy that I did it. And she was just saying, she's like, do you think that there's any kind of career where is not, nursing, that I can like, do the same thing that you're doing? And I tried to think really hard. I was like, well, like, other than being an entrepreneur, like, no, there is no other career where you work 3 days a week, depending on your contract, obviously, 3 days a week, you get paid really well. Like, you get to come home and you don't have to worry about like the stress of work. Obviously you bring things home from work, but like you leave it when you clock out, like you're done, like that's it. So nursing itself has been such a great thing for my life, for me really being able to build a career that caters to the life that I want to live. And I think that's something that I'm really trying to like get across to you guys is whatever career you're in right now, whatever specialty you're in right now, you really got to ask yourself, is this really catering to or is it really helping push me into the direction of really living the life that I want to live? And if the answer is no, that's okay. Like, you just really have to like take a step back and ask yourself, okay, like what direction do I really want to go in? Travel nursing is an option. Changing specialties is an option. I will tell you that you cannot change your specialties while travel nursing. That is like my biggest piece of advice is, if you are deciding to do travel nursing, please, for me and for you, choose a specialty that you love, because you cannot change if you're ICU, you can go down, but you can't go up. You can't be ED and go up to ICU. You can't be med surg and go like up to ED. Like, you can't do any of your specialty switches like that, which is good and unfortunate at the same time. However, I want you guys to like really enjoy travel nursing if that's what you guys decide to do. And I know some people who do like med surg travel nursing and they already hate that specialty like at home, and they realize like that's not actually what they want to do, and they think that just because they start travel nursing it'll change, which sometimes it does. Sometimes it does help reignite your love for med surg nursing or tele nursing or ER or ICU or whatever. But sometimes it does catch you in that situation of, all right, well, I want to continue travel nursing, but I actually still hate my specialty. So really make sure that you love the specialty that you're in, and it is actually something that you can see yourself doing for, I don't know, 3 to 5 years, if that's like how long you actually want to stay as a travel nurse. I'm trying to think of anything else that I want to say to you guys. There's like so much to really unpack about travel nursing. If you guys do have questions, and for those of you who weren't actually able to make the live on the actual time to ask questions, you guys can follow me on my Instagram. It's my first and my last name, so ReyAnn or you can find me on Facebook, or you can even message like Gypsy Nurse email and then ask for me, and I can answer like any questions. I'm always willing to help the travel nurse community, or even if you have questions while being or in your nursing profession as well. Like I really want people to like love this career and understand that like you have the choice to make it what you want to make it. You have the choice to be able to decide to go or leave, or ask for that raise, or just be treated better, or actually get, like a 30-minute uninterrupted break. Like that's something I wasn't used to when I was at my permanent job back home. And when I went to California, I got 2 30-minute uninterrupted breaks at one hospital. One, was it 15 minutes and 145? And then at some hospitals, they actually do 1 hour uninterrupted break. Like you don't have a phone with you, like that's your time. And you'd be surprised how often that can actually, you could be having the worst day and you actually take that break, and it kind of just like a reset for you to just come back and feel refreshed. Because I know as nurses, we don't get that a lot, but we do deserve that. And the culture of nursing has like become kind of toxic over many years. And I think travel nursing really just helps people kind of refresh and put themselves in that position of power. Like you do have power over your career and you are not stuck. That is my biggest just like piece, is like you're not stuck in the career that you're in. You have the capability to really do and live a life that is true to you. And it maybe hopefully will inspire other people to live a life that they want for themselves. So that's something that I try to embody a lot, is like really living a life so true to yourself that it inspires others to do the same. Just because we can all just get so tied into like the rat race of life and just like trying to hit these marks that it's like, do I even want that for myself? Do I even care about that? No, not really. Like I am living a very untraditional life that some people would maybe talk me out of or not support me in. And not me personally, but I do know travel nurses who, when they tell their family or their friends or their coworkers that they want to step into the realm of travel nursing, they talk them out of it. And it's because people who don't see themselves doing stuff like that will talk you out of anything that they'll never see themselves doing or being. And it's like, well, just because like you don't see yourself doing that doesn't mean that I can't do it and be successful. So again, really taking full control of your life and full control of like what you actually want from yourself. And I think travel nursing just teaches, I mean, there's many things that teach you that, but for me, it's been how to roll the punches, how to adapt to change, and how to like really be the best nurse and best person that I can. I think that's it. If you guys do have any questions, I'll always pop by later on the saved live, and I can always answer your questions on there too. But Rachel, I think that's all that I have.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's so exciting to hear like everybody's like story, how they got started and how much they enjoy Washington. I hear a lot about Washington. It's such a popular state. I feel like it's like the goal.
Yeah, they say that this is where travel nurses come to die, or like San Francisco, like Bay Area or California. And I'm like, man, I started in both of those places, so I just have really good experience in like both of those places.
That sounds amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much. We hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll have it next week. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions, I put her Instagram in the comments, but you guys can ask questions in the comments still, and we'll pass those along. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.